Hello everybody and welcome to my Games of 2012 video. Here I'll be looking at the games that I have played, bought. They have to have been released in 2012 though, and the games that I've most enjoyed this year, and just going through top 5. So here we have, to start off with, number 5. Let's wonder what it could be. That's right, we have Guild Wars 2, the MMORPG that came out obviously this year, and it is the sequel to Guild Wars 1, or just Guild Wars, that I played for quite a long time and I really enjoyed. I have to admit, I was struggling to make a top 5 of games that came out this year, but this one deserves to be in there because it is a sequel to the first game I played, and while I'm not hugely into MMORPGs anymore, I still felt as though I needed to play it just to sort of see what it was like and see the improvements and how the story developed. And to be honest, I was quite impressed with it. It's quite a nice game, and it does deserve to be in the top 5 really for having come out this year. There's lots of new character optimizations and stuff, which it's different, and obviously there's no subscription fees as well, which is the reason I got into it in the first place. And that's why it does come at the bottom of my top 5. But for me, it has to be in there. Obviously, I'm just going to tell you now, there's no like Call of Duty or anything in here. It's just games that are on PC. Anyway, I know a lot of the shooting games are on PC, but just so you don't get upset about a lack of console games in this top 5 games of 2012. So that will do. Guild Wars 2. Number 5. Next up we have number 4, and it's a Football Manager 2013. This game only came out in October or start of November, but I spent a lot of time this year playing on 2012, so that's basically why 13 has to be in here, because it's up to the same standard as 12. And I'm sure if I was in the mood for Football Manager, I probably will end up playing on it for that amount of time. I can't see it though, due to all the other stuff I have to do. But it definitely deserves to be in a top 5 video. It is always one of my favourite games every year, so it wouldn't feel right leaving Football Manager out of the top 5 basically. And that's all I really have to say about that, to be honest. Anyone that's into football knows about Football Manager anyway, so I won't go through and bore the rest of you that don't really care. But there you go, number 4. And at number 3, I'm sure this will come as no surprise, but we do have Lego Lord of the Rings. As you may or may not know, Lego brought out a huge Lord of the Rings set in real life. A couple of months prior to, or I saw it anyway, a couple of months prior to them bringing the game out, and I only heard about the game a couple of days before it came out, so I was very excited by it, and it sort of caught me a bit by surprise. And despite this sort of childish nature, I guess, well, just it being Lego, I suppose, I actually found myself really enjoying the game. And obviously, as you will have probably seen, there's a lot of videos up of me playing through it. And obviously I've not enjoyed it all the time. I think that probably represents why it's third in this list. But it is a good game to play, and I mean, I didn't just enjoy it. My girlfriend enjoyed it as well. She spent quite a while playing it, and I've found myself liking Lego quite a lot in the past sort of year, definitely. Just as a concept, as an idea, messing and playing around with and stuff. So when you add all that together, I found myself, as I say, really quite enjoying the Lego Lord of the Rings. Maybe I wish there was more action in it, but it's definitely been a lot of fun. And maybe at £25 on Steam, it's a little bit expensive, but never know. Look around for a Christmas sale; you might get 50% off if you're lucky there, and it would be well worth that sort of price range, definitely. So that's all I really have to say about Lord of the Rings in terms of where it comes on my list and how good it's been. It's one of those that has been one of the surprises of the year. So it did sort of change my top 5 by coming in. Wasn't expected to come in quite this high, but I was looking back and thinking through of which games I've really enjoyed, and yes, this one comes in at number 3. And the penultimate game at number 2 is Mass Effect 3. That's right, a very controversial game this year due to its ending and other such things. And it's a game which I've been really looking forward to since number 2 obviously finished. And it also ends off the trilogy. I won't go too much into much to do with the game, really. If you play the first 2, then it's obviously a game which you really do have to play. And I would say don't be put off too much by the endings, because I found myself to be quite happy with them, really, at the end of the day. I thought it was, looking back now, it's the ending it was alright for me. It ended the trilogy quite well. And it is a really good game, because obviously I wanted to see the end of the storylines with the different characters and the romances and everything. So it's one of the games I've really enjoyed this year, and I've completed about twice now, I think. So I've had a good replayability out of it, definitely. And it has been one of my highlights of the year. And I have to say, it's really, really close between this one and what is number 1. And I think when number 1 does come up, it won't come as too much of a surprise, I shouldn't think, really. But as I say, it was difficult to choose between the 2. And I don't really think there's much more I can say about Mass Effect 3. So before the video shows too many spoilers, I will end it there. And at number 1, I'm sure it will come as no surprise, but we have Chivalry Medieval Warfare. That's right, the game that I have done quite a lot of videos on, it's safe to say, and the game that I have by far the most enjoyed. I don't really know what I can really say about Chivalry, or Medieval, whatever you want to call it. I'm not, because I've gone through most of it in my videos anyway, and obviously you'll know how much I've enjoyed playing the game. Especially this map. This map's one of my favourites. So you have to protect the king. Unfortunately, you get people who are stupid and decide to get themselves killed as the king. But never mind. So the only thing I was really want to say about this is, obviously, this is another game like Lego Lord of the Rings. It just sort of popped out of the blue. I remember that a couple of weeks before this game came out, the War of the Roses game was out, and I was looking at that, and I was trying to decide whether I could convince myself to get that game. So I was thinking, do I have enough time to play a game sort of like that, where I have to get really stuck in and have to be committed to playing it a lot because it's online, and is my internet good enough, and all of these questions. And in the end, I decided that I like the concept and I like the idea, but the War of the Roses game just really didn't really do anything for me, I'm afraid to say. It just didn't seem quite what I was expecting in a game like this. And then 2 weeks later, Chivalry pops up, and then I had another dilemma as well, because I was thinking, this game's so much better than the other one, and it does look really good. And I think in the end, I decided to go for it and obviously buy it. And I've been following it quite a lot, not just in playing it and keeping up with the on the website and the latest news and everything to do with it. So, it's a game that I've really have become quite immersed in. And that's why it does rip the number 1 spot away from Mass Effect. I mean, despite the fact there was a story in Mass Effect, I just think the gameplay and basically just how much I've enjoyed Chivalry. It's safe to say, it almost feels like I've been waiting for a game like Chivalry for so long since I started playing games, and it's just never happened until now. So I think that's the reason why it has to get number 1. Obviously, I'd love to have a proper RPG up there at number 1. Like an old Final Fantasy style RPG, but there just hasn't been any. None that I've seen, none that deserve to be in the top 5 at any rate. And yeah, I don't really think I'd have a game like this coming in at number 1, if I'm honest. But it has, and it's well deserved, actually, I have to say. And that's why, obviously, I don't know, my explanation for it needs to go on a little bit longer than the rest of the games. because you have to know why this game is obviously the best game of the year in my idea. If they were going to bring out a version, they should bring out a Game of the Year version. That's how good it's been. I really do think so. There's been no downloadable content though, so I think they might struggle to sell that. So anyway, while that is going on, I will just mention that after this clip of Chivalry is finished, there will be another video for my the game that I've enjoyed most this year. So obviously I've really enjoyed Chivalry, but I mean not in this top 5, and it doesn't have to have been released in 2012 either. This last game. So if I'd have played Final Fantasy 8, 7, 9 and really enjoyed it, then obviously that could be number 1. And it is quite a modern game, and I don't know if it will surprise anyone. But I actually bought this game for the PC on Christmas Day last year, which is why obviously I didn't play it till this year a lot. And there's just the sheer hours and fun I've got out of the game is what makes it that individual prize winner, I suppose. So we'll be having the sort of like second game of the year coming up next. And the moment you've all been waiting for, apart from the last moment which you were just waiting for, my favourite game of the year is Skyrim. Obviously it came out fairly late last year, so I've spent a lot of this year playing it, and it's been a game that I have thoroughly enjoyed. There was a lot of hype built up about it when I first heard about it, and I saw all the videos for it, and I kept, I wanted more gameplay footage. I want to see what it was like, and I was a bit unbelieving about how good the game looked, and honestly it's been an absolutely amazing game, and it's, I don't know, it's one of my favourite games probably of all time. I must admit it is in part to Oblivion be coming out, because that obviously builds the foundations for wanting to play something like this. But I have to say it honestly is an amazing game, and obviously all of you will probably know that anyway. I don't need to preach to you. But just the sheer time I've spent on it and how much I've enjoyed playing it has just been amazing this year. And it's one of the few games that I've actually played where the initial hype that I felt leading up to it has actually produced up upon that. And that doesn't really happen very often when you have a lot of hype for a game. Which is why when I try to do my reviews, you might think I'm being a bit harsh. Because I do normally turn it down 1 or 2 points. If I do, sometimes because I just don't like the genre of the game itself. But it's not good I don't like getting people's hopes up about these sort of things. I don't like getting my own hopes up about a particular game, but I really did with Skyrim. And when I played it, it was amazing. I have to say, the only thing I'm waiting for is to be able to ride dragons, like properly, and be able to shoot fire and stuff. I think that's probably the only thing I'm waiting for on Skyrim, something like that to come out. And when that does, although by the time you watch this video it might have done. I mean, there's lots of... that's another thing as well. There's loads of amazing mods for this game as well. Some people have put so many hours into making different mods for this game, and a lot of them are truly brilliant. Like the shell I've just used, where the cheese falls from the sky. That's Share Goroth, Call of Madness shell, and all of them are brilliant. That's definitely one of the mods worth getting, and I think that's why it's my favourite game of the year actually. But Chivalry did take it far. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and same time next year. Goodbye.